The KEA process is much needed across the state. Our teachers are able to see the whole child, not just academic, but social and emotional, and pick up on things that otherwise would have been missed.
Our teachers are really looking at our children in a whole different way. Instead of are they proficient or are they not proficient, we're really looking at what is going to make the student successful.
What do I love about KEA? I love the fact that this assessment tool allows for teachers to observe for social and emotional, and it can help support next steps in planning.
Students benefit from the KEA because it keeps teachers consistent with what they're teaching and how they're teaching, but it also allows for the teachers to differentiate to the student-specific needs, both in whole group, in small group, and individually. So it's really driving that student's instruction. It's really driving skill-based instruction. It's driving social-emotional instruction. It's really driving their instruction to meet their needs and ultimately make them more successful in first grade and beyond.
She whispered in the pumpkin's ear, so do we know what she told him?
Yes, I do.
She told him at the door, but what did she tell him?
Good morning, welcome to our kindergarten PLC meeting.
The number one thing that we want to have at this school is full collectiveness and full collaboration from every stakeholder. So we're talking all grade level teachers, myself as the curriculum coordinator, anyone who's involved in our students' learning. We want to collectively meet and to make sure that we are transparent, to make sure that we're fluid, to make sure that we're consistent across the board. When we look at our students, not as each individual teacher students, but as the entire grade level students and even the entire school, we're really maximizing our resources and our time to best meet the needs of our students. So we are going to refer him to some social emotional interventions with Ms. Gertis. With our district, the expectation is that our principals are involved in our collaborative team meetings. They sometimes are the most beneficial resource, especially regarding the whole child. They know environmental factors that maybe the teachers or other stakeholders don't know. They know things that can drive that student's education. Here we really use our principal, who just happens to be a former kindergarten teacher, as a resource and really asking what his opinion is.
And some intervention notes for Letty, Lysandra, and Chelsea.
We here at Shady Brook are doing great things with the KEA because we have involved essentially the entire staff. And that also takes a little bit of pressure off the kindergarten teacher themselves for teaching the whole child. Everyone is teaching the whole child. We look through the KEA through the lens of a goal-oriented platform. We look at it in terms of what's the next step. So when we pull up the individual student report, we familiarize ourselves collectively, and then do we need to differentiate that a little bit for the student involved? His next step may be one-step directions, but what does that mean for that child? Does it need to be one-step directions that are 3 words or less? So you really want to focus in on how that relates to the child, as opposed to just knowing what each of the construct progressions are. It takes a lot of the stress off the teacher, and just they know that this truly is an individualized process for each student.
No, he's not at the beginning, right? He's the second letter.
Instruction, curriculum, and environment. All 3 of those are deeply embedded into the KEA. We've got to have good instruction. What is our curriculum? Is it reflective of the whole child? Are we truly meeting the strengths and needs of our students? And then lastly, the environment. And environment plays a huge part, especially in kindergarten. Are we meeting the environmental needs of our students? And are we differentiating our instruction to make sure that those students have a stable enough environment to really succeed? So you have ICE in the KEA and you have ICE and MTSS, and those embedding principles are in both. So there's really no way that they can't be interconnected and they can't be used to make each other better.
If I were speaking with other districts about the KEA implementation, the number one thing I would suggest is to provide time. What our teachers have learned from this is that it is an integration part of the day. However, it is very purposeful and intentional, and through that comes planning. Through our PLCs, when we're looking at student data, that is instrumental in allowing us to do a deep dive on certain students, really looking at students' needs, but the planning piece is a must, and time allowed for that.
Reinforce those concepts in the classroom. So the biggest things that we've learned as a staff from the KEA is that this can really impact the way we're teaching and the way our students are learning. And it's carried over to the other grades. Our first grade teachers want construct progressions. They want to know the next step. They want to be guided. This KEA has allowed our kindergarten teachers to really be in tune with what our students need. And that's just natural from any teacher that they want the same thing. So building that culture in kindergarten is really going to enable us to do really good things with this process K through 3.